Chapter 1, Introduction. 1.1, Background of Study. The purpose of this study was to assess how many patients Nana Pediatric Hospital and how much the operating costs are. According to the study, the number of patients and the cost of the operation is seen through the 10 months period, which is from January to October. In this instance, the illness is appendicitis, which exclusively affects children during specific times of the year. In the course of 10 months period, the students from the Faculty State Division of Applied Science, Class A4 AS120325, conducted research on the correlation between the number of patients and the operating costs at the Nana Children's Hospital. This satisfies the requirements of the syllabus, which is STA108, which covers probability and statistics. Dependent and independent variables make up the two variables. The number of patients is an independent variable. Meanwhile, the operation costs are a dependent variable. To figure out whether the number of patients and the cost of operation in the Nana Pediatric Hospitals are related, the information gathered will be preserved. Data from January to October covering the number of patients and the operating costs was used to create the sample for this study. To figure out the exact number of patients and operating costs in a Nana Pediatric Hospital, an inquiry was conducted on children suffering from appendicitis. We shall thus be aware that the operating costs at the Nana Pediatric Hospital increased with the number of patients. 1.2, Objective of Study. The objectives of the study are as follows. Number 1, to determine the relationship between the number of patients and the operating costs over 10 months period in Nana Pediatric Hospital. Number 2, to find the skewness of the two variables between the number of patients and the operating costs over 10 months period in Nana Pediatric Hospital. And last but not least, number 3 is to identify, organize and graph the quantitative data to understand the problem and make decisions.
So next, there are three main objectives that you can see here. The first one is to determine the relationship between the number of patients and the operating costs over 10-month period in Nana Pediatric Hospital. The second one is to find the skewness of the two variables between the number of patients and the operating costs over 10-month period in Nana Pediatric Hospital. And the third one is to identify, organize, and graph the quantitative data to understand the problem and make decisions. There are two variables that you can see here. The first one is the number of patients, which is an independent variable, and the second one is operating cost, which is the dependent variable. So the type of variable for these two are the same, which is the quantitative variable. It is a discrete variable. Data was measured on number scale. It obtains a numerical response and a numerical response resulting from a measurement method. As you can see, the level of measurement is the same, which is the interval data. It is the most effective scale of measurement and contains a meaningless zero. There are three methods that we use throughout this assignment. The first one is the Pearson's correlation. The second one is skewness method. And the third one is descriptive statistic and inferential statistic.
The last part is conclusion. Based on the secondary data obtained, the results show a positive correlation between the number of patients and the amount of operating costs over 10-month period in Nana Pediatric Hospital. The value of the correlation coefficient R is 0.963. As denoted a highly positive correlation between this factor, the independent variable is number of patients and the dependent variable is operating cost. According to the first objective of the experiment, the prediction is confirmed. The data support to the objective where there is a relationship between number of patients that admitted is increased, so the operating cost will tend to increase significantly. According to the second objective, the results show that the data is skewed to the left. after that, based on the correlation and regression that has been determined, the operating cost is supposed to be in positive correlation. It is because when the number decrease by 1, the operating cost will decrease by 160 ringgit 25 cent, and scatter plot between the number of patient and operating cost is supposed to be in positive correlation. In conclusion, in the event of diarrhea lasting more than 24 hours, stomach pain followed by vomiting, especially when there is green or red poo, parents should take their kids to a nearby hospital. This is because appendicitis could be the child diagnosis. In order to prevent further complication, appendicitis therapy involves surgically removing all or part of the appendix. This led to increase in both the number of patients in a hospital and the cost of operating will increase.